Okay, so now we're moving on to two-step equations. Two-step equations are really not that bad as long as you remember your ultimate goal is to figure out what your variable is. So that's your ultimate goal. Now, when you do this, you need to take the time to work through each step. And that's why it's called a two-step equation. So if we were to look at this first one, it's 7x plus 9 equals 58. So if you were to look at this, the first thing that you want to do is get anything that's just a constant, a basic number, over to the other side. So if you remember looking at our one-step equations, we know that whatever we do the opposite of. So here it has a positive 9. Now, I want the positive 9 to go on this side because I know ultimately my goal is to solve for this guy. So if you have a plus 9, we know that minus 9 is how you're going to zero this out. So if I have a minus 9 on this side, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to minus 9 over here. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to rewrite the problem, which tells me I have 7x equals 49 left over. Well, once again, I still need to solve for this. So this is one step, and down here is going to be our two step. If I know that they're side by side right here, it's telling me it needs to multiply. When I multiply, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by the 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so that crosses this guy out. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 49 divided by 7 is x equals 7. Remember, everything that you do, if you have your calculator, it's absolutely silly not to double check your work. 49 divided by 7 equals 7. So if I did this correctly, my answer should be 7. But because we always want to make sure that we are double checking our work, we're going to insert 7 where the x is. So 7 times 7 plus 9 should be, if I did it correctly, 58. So 7 times 7 plus 9 equals 58. So I did my two-step equation, I circled my answer, and then I double-checked my answer. So I did this correctly. We'll do one more just to make sure that you guys understand what we're working with. So we're going to do the negative 3x plus 33 equals negative 12. Don't be scared just because we have some negatives in there. So I have negative 3x plus 33 equals negative 12. Our ultimate goal here is to get x by itself, but you may want to make sure that you're not forgetting this negative sign. So if I have a positive 33, I need to get rid of the positive. So what is the opposite of positive 33? Minus 33. So that is going to get rid of that guy. So if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other. A common error here is that we're just going to go ahead and subtract or add it together. But let's do negative 12 minus 33, and that gives us negative 45. So here's one. We're going to go back and rewrite it for step 2. So negative 3x equals negative 45. What we need to do now is we need to get x by itself. We know that negative 3x is multiplication, so we need to divide by the negative 3. If I divide by negative 3 on one side, that crosses that guy out. I need to divide by negative 3 on the other side. Negative 45 divided by negative 3 gives me 15. And note that it's a positive 15. So x equals 15. I want to go back and double check my work. So I'm going to do negative 3 times 15 plus 33 should give me, let's double check it, negative 3 times 15 plus 33 gives me negative 12. And negative 12 was my starting point. So I am right where I need to be. But let's go down here and take a look. So I have x over 2 minus 12 equals negative 14. We know that when we see this, it's never anything that we're super excited about. So let's look at here. I have x over 2 minus 12 equals negative 14. So when we double check our work, we need to make sure that we're keeping that negative 14, which is in our answer. So if I have minus 12 here, I need to add 12 because adding is the opposite of subtracting, which will get rid of this guy. If I add 12 on one side, I need to add 12 on the other side. This is 1. Step 2 is we are going to do x over 2 equals negative 14 divided by 12, or negative 14 plus 12 gives me negative 2. So this gives me negative 2. But I still need to get x by itself. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 because we know division, the opposite is multiplication. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, which gives me x equals negative 2 times 2 gives me negative 4. If I'm going to go back and double check my work, I have negative 4 divided by 2 minus 12 should give me minus 14. Well, let's double check this. Negative 4 divided by 2 gives me negative 2. Minus 12 gives me negative 14. So this is the correct answer. Let's just do one more together. So in case we're still a little confused, we can answer or hopefully make you feel a little bit better. So 5 divided, or x divided by 5 plus 7 equals 16. Once again, I want to get x by itself. So the first step we're going to do is to get rid of this 7. So the opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. Positive 7 minus 7, you get rid of a big fat 0. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So over here, 16 minus 7 gives you 9. If we were to rewrite this, this is number 1. So x over 5 equals 9. Part 2, we need to get x by itself. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So simple way to do it is I take my denominator, multiply it over here, which exits out. And if I multiply on one side, I have to multiply on the other. So 9 times 5 is 45. So x equals 45. If I'm going to double check my work, I'm going to do 45 divided by 5 plus 7